Hey, so I'm not gonna be able to edit this video as well as I want, but I want to show a cool code I made for the English that I'm working on. Okay, let's get into it. So when we're reading Beloved in IB literature, right, one of the ideas we discussed was how in a system, like in a discriminatory system, right, you have a dominant group and you have a subgroup, right? And the dominant group provides a definition for that subgroup, and then the subgroup has to accept that definition because, well, they're the subgroup. Then what happens is that definition spreads, and then they embody the definition. Then the dominant group, after enforcing that definition, they say, "Wow, I told you so. I was correct." So then, how does this come into my code? Okay, let's get into it. So essentially what I did here, give me a second. I have a code where you are the dominant group, right? And then you basically choose what to define your subclass as, right? And then you already have a group, you already have some people in that group, like, yeah, with their own definitions, right? They're different. Like, you have Aaliyah, who's a brilliant software engineer known for her innovative solutions in artificial intelligence. You have Tasha. Tasha, a groundbreaking scientist, has made significant contributions to medical research and oncology, right? You have them with the different definitions. So this part, right, currently, we haven't gone to step one. But after you give that definition, we get, okay, give me a second. After you give that definition, we get to step one now, where it's like, where the subgroup, right? You'll see this in a second. The subgroup has to accept, well, the subgroup gets the definition. And that comes into step two, really, where they accept the definition. So I said the value is basically you see this is a dictionary, right? So this is the key. Jordan will be the key, then the definition will be the value. So the value for like the next group of people in the subgroup is the definition you imposed, right? So then I created a for loop, and then the for loop basically creates new people. This goes into proliferates the definition part of it. So I create new people, and then that definition spreads to all of them, right? And the idea came into like when we're reading Beloved. So that's why the names are mostly names you'll see with African Americans. And then a cool reference I did was that in the book you have the Paul brothers. So you have Paul A, Paul D. I forgot the other one was Paul F maybe, but yeah, Paul D is the main one. Anyways, you have the Paul brothers as what's it called? Shoot. A montage? No. When you do a nod to something, as a nod to them, as a reference, I guess. As a reference to them, I changed the naming structure to fit the new people that are created with the new sub definition, right? So you have like A, B, C, D, blah blah blah. I also added R just to have like a different mix, so it's not just like the names being the same. You have a mix of someone who's like Tasha 1. That idea of the one becomes when that dominant group starts to see them as individuals and more so just like these. They don't see the individuality, right? Because after you've imposed the definition, they're basically all the same. So that's the idea of this, the R, and the R being the random number, and that, not the random number, but the R being the number and the letters, right? So I kind of spend a lot of time on that, explaining that part. So the way the key now becomes a random name from here, right? Because the dominant group doesn't really see individuality. Then you choose a random name convention. So it can either be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Or it could be a random number starting from 21, because there's only 20 people here. Okay, so then that subgroup key becomes the value. Yeah. So that subgroup, that's how I create new subgroup. So this is basically appending new people. These are appending new people with the definition you impose into the dictionary. And then I say print that new person. And then why I don't want my English teacher to, like, break his computer. So I said stop at 40, but I'm going to change that to, let's do 100. I could do 1,000,000 maybe. Okay, let's see. So me, the dominant group, I'm going to say, give me a second. I'm going to say the definition for the subclass is they're animalistic, right? You're going to see how this goes in a second. Animalistic. Please tell me I spelled that right. Let me close these guys. Right. Sorry. Okay. So the subgroup is animalistic. And now I'm gonna send a definition off and go impose it. Boom. Okay, so you're like, okay. And boom. But there's one problem because these people are better put, so I have to change that real quick. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so I fixed it. Basically what I wanted the people definitions to pop up. By the way, there's a cool ChatGPT thing. When I'm doing code, I just need like a large amount of text. I just get ChatGPT to do it for me. So this was just ChatGPT, and then it got the names from there as well. Okay, let's go into the thing. So I basically wanted the original people, before your imposed definition to print. So I just created a quick for loop. There might be a better way to do that, but you know, for the sake of time and whatnot, I'm gonna focus on this. So run Python file. I'm gonna focus on doing it quickly. Let's call this DOM system. Okay. And then we're gonna go to our, yep. And let me expand this. Okay. So give definition for subclass. Let's call them barbaric, right? So then the idea is, okay, so during slavery, they would have called like these guys, oh, they're barbaric. Okay, so the first 20 people, right, they're not barbaric. However, you start imposing your system and it changes. So then the next person is barbaric, and it's like they accepted the definition proliferates, and then eventually you're proved right. Well, a self-fulfilling prophecy in some sense, because you imposing those definitions make those definitions true, and then the system tells you you were right. Just you're right about those people. Just don't look at the first 20, and the first 20 being the people who you didn't post those definitions on, and they disprove your point. I kind of like how it worked. It was more for the portfolio thing. He wanted us to create like an artistic representation. I was going to do that, but I was like, oh, okay, that might take some time. So I spent some time coding. I was like, this counts as art in some sense, so why not? So yeah, that's a cool art piece in a sense. I do think it's really interesting how using coding for art as something I want to try out doing more. I already talked about with the Python art pieces and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. I thought it was cool. I do like how it explains how a terrible system works. But yeah, I do think I could have improved I could have translated the metaphor, or not the metaphor, I could have translated the system to code much better. But due to the time frame I had, I just went with this. I think it works well. So I'm happy with that. I might revisit it and improve it. We'll see. I do have a class soon, so next week I could show them how you could do this to translate. That would be a cool project. Translate a metaphor or a system into code. Okay. Have a great day.